the public wish to comment on the testimony you've heard so far on this application? Hearing and seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. That's always a good thing. No objectors? Okay, final questions from the board before I take a motion to approve, I suppose. Anybody else? Pretty good. Okay. Chris, do you have any comments for a motion?
No, I think the, the motion would be if the board deemed approval that it met the criteria for the C2 variance and that it would be providing compliance with the engineer's comments 4.1 to 4.9.
Anybody would like to make that motion?
Yes, I would. I thought it was a good presentation. I think the after pictures, the renderings look great.
Thank you.
And I would be in favor and I'd make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Suzanne?
Yep.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? No discussion. We'll move to a roll call vote, please.
Chris, we don't need the alternates votes, do we?
No.
No.
You can let them vote if they want. They were kind of.
Why not?
But
Nice enough to
it
come.
counts for them.
Member Bergen,
Yes.
Secretary Delosio,
Yes.
Member Davis,
Yes.
Member Kistner,
Yes.
Member Lovasolo,
Yes.
Councilman Sasso,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sirico.
Yes.
Mayor Bernstein,
Yes.
Chairman Quinn,
Yes.
and the two alternates.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're approved, and there's a caveat.
So you're, although it's approved tonight, it will be memorialized at the January planning board meeting. So that's when you'll be able to start pulling permits and things.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good luck.
Yes.
Next on the agenda, Land Use Board 2021-17, Eric and Lisa Neff, 47 Homewood Ave, Allendale, New Jersey, block 2005, lot 6. This is also construction of a second-story addition over an existing non-conforming building footprint. So we have some variance relief being sought as well.
Got a chance to review the application and the affidavit of service and publication today. And the notice was properly placed for this and properly published in the legal ad section of the record.
Okay.
So the board has jurisdiction and we are ready to proceed this evening.
Okay. Welcome. Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Would you do the
Who will be,
swearing?
Testifying, both of you. Raise your right hand in case there are any additional questions. So do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? To the court of this case? And if you could just say your name and address, each of you, for the record.
Eric Neff, 47 Homewood Avenue, Allendale, New Jersey.
Lisa Neff, 47 Homewood Ave, Allendale.
Thank you. Okay, this is your turn now to tell us what you want to do, what you're proposing, and what, more importantly to us, what the hardship is. Is it C1 or C2 variance? So we'll get into that as you go along.
So obviously the architect's not with us, so we don't have Mary's expertise or, but I am, he comes very familiar with the codes and basically we had drawings made for a second story addition by JMA Architects.
Which is part of the package that we have here.
Correct. Had an application with the zoning board and they pointed out some I guess, violations of the zoning codes, particularly in the A zone we live in. Lot size less than 10,000 square feet allows for a maximum floor area ratio of 24%. Proposed addition calculates to 27%. That was actually raised to 28.5% by the engineers that followed up, because they added our shed to the square footage.
Is that our engineer or your engineer? Just to be
I
clear.
believe it's yours, Dan Cleese.
Is that Mike?
engineer.
Okay, that was Michael. Okay,
Okay.
fine. I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Also, the current size of our home requires minimum side yard setbacks of 15 feet. We are non-conforming on right side of 11.8 feet and 11.6 feet on the left side. So it says that any alteration or improvement does not result in any vertical expansion above any existing non-conformity because of those setbacks.
And we see that almost all the time.
And then the front yard setback currently is 25.2 feet. The proposed work on the second floor is at 33.9 feet. 35 feet is required. So currently our house is 25.2 feet. The addition would be 33.9 feet, which is further, but it doesn't meet 35 feet requirement.
Okay.
So we are seeking variance relief for these issues. And
I'm assuming that's under the hardship.
But primarily your hardship is that it's an
Undersized
undersized
lot.
lot. in the
undersized
zone,
lot, yes,
Which is, requires 20,000 square feet, you have 6,000 square feet,
right,
so it's significantly undersized for the zone.
correct. And also the width of the property, which is in that zone, it's actually 115 feet and it's 65 feet less.
Right, you're at 50.
Both of
is that
those
right?
are, we declare hardships.
And those are, I'm assuming those are pre-existing before the zoning went in. There were 50-foot lots when, a lot of the lots on that street, because I drove down it today, are 100 foot or 75 feet wide. You're only 50. There's not that many 50-foot
No.
lots on that street. So I assume that
I
all
would assume
predates,
that's correct.
yeah, as far as I
And
can tell.
obviously, you
It
know,
wasn't a subdivision at some
no,
point.
and what the applicant is proposing has no,
I don't know.
is not making any changes to the size of the lot or the width of the lot.
Right.
So what are you proposing to do?
So right now we have a Cape Cod. We'd like to add the second story addition consisting of 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, to improve our, I guess, space in the house. We have a teenage son and a teenage daughter, and things are closing in, so we want to expand a little bit and improve.
And what's the addition is going to be how many square feet? Do you know that? How much you adding on? Looks like 1,600, is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like just under 300 feet.
correct.
Mike, did you have comments? I know you have a letter.
Yeah, we had to review the application and went out and visited the property and put together a review memo. I think the applicant went through the non-conforming conditions. I'm not going to go through those again.
Right.
But, you know, going towards the back of our report under the renovations on section 4.1. The plans talk about number 49. The number on the house is number 49. The application is 47. I think the tax map says 47.
It does.
I just wanted to make
So
sure
if
that's
you want-
clarified.
The
for
mailbox
record.
says 49. I sat there. and looked
I-
For
myself.
the- for the
have
record and for the
A
notice.
story to tell about that. So when we purchased the house back in 2004, we were told it's 49 Homewood.
Okay.
It said it on everything, from what I remember, and that was our address. I believe at one point or another, either a bank or the insurance company said your lot is 47. And we had to change it on our mortgage and our
Okay,
insurance.
so you had to make the legal.
We still use
changes.
49 for our mailing address technically. There's no other house that's 47 and 49. It's the
Right,
same
okay.
property. But we can correct that throughout, the mailing system, throughout any utilities. It's just something that came up and we never even knew about it.
And, from the board's perspective, I looked at it only from a notice issue. And they issued for number 47 and the tax records indicated as number 47. So
So that's
I
consistent.
think that was consistent.
Okay.
Item 4.2, just looking for some testimony on how the exterior is going to be finished, if it's going to be finished similar to the existing structure, same color scheme and the type of materials.
We are obviously going to get a new roof and we plan on getting new siding. We may go with a different color.
Any idea of a natural color or earth tone color or white?
Well, we were thinking like in a blue tone. We don't know for sure.
The questions are just there, so it doesn't,
Yes.
bright pink or purple or.
Something that the board.
Maybe,
We don't
you know,
plan on
kind of
being gaudy.
shout at you. That might disturb the neighbors as well.
Contemporary and yes.
So that's where the question's coming
Yeah,
from.
something in tune with the neighborhood.
Of
and
course.
the character of the street.
And there's some interesting with the Tudor type homes.
Like
Across the street and down the block from on
Mm.
the larger lot. So
Right.
there's already there's some precedent for height existing on the street already. So to me, you're not going as high as those homes are.
Yeah, I think it's adding maybe 10 feet of height to the actual structure.
Yeah, and you're still well within the height restrictions.
Item 4.3, looking for some clarification about existing landscaping. It looked like there was some landscaping located on the sides of the lot and in the rear, and wanted to know if you were planning on keeping the landscaping or maybe supplementing it.
Not at the moment. Maybe down the road, we're gonna get, some upgrades, but we
Try to
don't plan-
preserve everything that's out there now.
Yes. Absolutely. No trees being removed during plans.
Okay.
The big tree to the back, that's a healthy tree.
Yes.
Okay.
Plan didn't indicate any exterior lighting. We're assuming that there'll be lighting at the doorways. Are you planning on doing any spotlights or lights on the second floor?
No additional lighting. We have a motion sensor light in the back. We'll probably keep that and the side door on the driveway side and the front door are already existing. We're just gonna upgrade those.
And then comment that we have on all these renovation projects is to make sure that provisions are considered and utilized so that there's no negative impact on stormwater runoff on the neighborhood street, both during construction and after construction.
And you would agree to work with the township borough engineer to make sure that any improvements don't increase runoff onto neighboring properties, correct?
Yes, correct.
And item 4.6, if there's going to be any soil disturbance or excavation associated with the renovations, soil erosion and sediment control measures that need to be installed.
I don't think that applies to this, but yeah. No
You're not doing any
move-
foundation work.
movement-
You're
movement of
essentially
soil
ripping the roof off
Yeah,
and
just-
going up.
on the footprint of the house. Yeah.
And then item 4.7, we just identified some additional permits or approvals that could be necessary depending on the scope of the application. For example, if 50 yards of cubic dirt were going to be moved, maybe we need a soil movement. It doesn't sound like that's the case here. Impervious coverage increasing by 500 square feet, that would require a plot plan. And and Bergen County saw that there was 5,000 square feet of disturbance. Obviously, that's not the case, and the tree removal permit for any trees that would be taken down.
In sum, you comply with whatever you needed to comply with, right?
Absolutely.
Very good. Need to get it on the record.
Questions from the board?
So is your lot somewhat elevated? Topography of it from your neighbor to the left, the yellow house? Are you like at a higher point?
Slightly.
Okay. But then you're somewhat lower than the,
Yeah.
Like you
it-
said, I'm trying to think, is it-
Homewood's a little slow, yes.
Okay.
so-
and they're good, the house, the yellow house with your addition?
Yes, our neighbors are actually here supporting. us.
Ah, so I didn't know that's where you were, yeah.
We will open it to the.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And it's clear, pretty clear to me that the hardship is the undersized lot.
Those two teenagers. I've been through that.
We've all gone that route.
Yes.
That's another meeting, exactly.
There's no room big enough for them, but that's their usual complaint. All right. If there's nothing else from the board at the moment, I'll open it up to the public. Any members of the public wish to be heard on the testimony we heard tonight? If so, sir, if you'd come up here, state your name and address for the record. If you can get near a microphone so we can capture it on the system. Mike's got very loud.
Sure. Scott Monard, 43 Homewood Avenue. My wife Lisa and I are the yellow house that's on the driveway side of the next property.
Excuse me, it's just, are you sure you're 43, right?
I've been here since 2000, so no one's told us anything.
Thank you.
And again, we are in total support. You know, we've known the Neffs since they moved in, and you know, we have no issues. We think, you know, the privacy between the two houses will remain, and we're in support of what they want to do.
Great. Thank you.
Great.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public? Good evening.
Good evening.
Jim, how are you?
Oh, good. My name's Jim Doris and I live at 54 Homewood, which is directly across the street, one of the tutors that you
Okay.
mentioned. And we have no, we've been there 39 years. We've seen the house not grow, but the family's growing. Maybe not as big as previous families that were there, but a quick history on the house was originally purchased by Pete Cowenbergs.
Okay.
And it was bought. He only bought the foundation because it had burned down. And he bought it with his mustering out pay from the Navy. And he was very proud of that. And but it's delightful to have neighbors that appreciate the neighborhood and growing families that are in it. It's a great, it's a family neighborhood. I'm sure several of you know. There's always kids around. My granddaughters live 2 houses away from me now, so that's kind of neat. But it's a lot of history, and I have no problems at all with what Eric has and Lisa have presented. They shared the plans with me and we answered all my questions privately. And but I know it's going to come out to be really nice. So, I'm in full support.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Yeah, any other members of the public? Yeah, back there. Come up and state your name and address for the record as well, and your comments or questions.
Hello, board.
Joe Kraus, 42 Homewood Ave.
Okay,
I don't really think this is going to be needed, but did definitely want to share my full support, as well as my wife, who couldn't attend tonight, but we are both in full support of the Neff's project. Not only are they great neighbors and great people, but great members of the community, and I hope you all can see that, and that's my statement.
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate
Thank
that.
you, Joe.
Anybody left in Homewood tonight? Anybody over there in Homewood right now?
Hopefully there's some police going up and down.
Okay. No other questions? Any other comments from the public? Hearing and seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Any other questions from the board? Chris, can you summarize what a motion might sound like if for approval?
Sure, I think that this is, meets the criteria of the C1 hardship variance. Has, agreed to set forth in the borough engineer report, that's 4.2 through 4.7. And, the board is inclined to grant the application. You need a motion in a second.
Thank you. Would anybody like to make that motion?
So move, Sirico.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second the motion. Del was here.
Thanks, Joe. Any discussion on the motion? We'll move to a roll call vote, please.
Board Member Bergen,
Yes.
Secretary Delavatio.
Yes.
Board Member Davis.
Yes.
Board Member Kistner,
With pleasure.
Board Member Lovasolo,
Yes.
Councilman Sasso,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sirico,
Yes.
Mayor Bernstein,
Yes.
Chairman Quinn.
Yes. Okay, motion carries and you're approved with the caveat of,
That's, yes, the caveat is that the application is approved tonight, but it'll be memorialized in resolution in the January meeting, and by that time you can pull permits and start.
you don't have to attend next month. Okay,
Thank
good- and good luck.
Congratulations.
Well supported.
To your neighbors, thank you.
Low turnout.
Oh, that's a-
him at the G now.
That's a good idea.
For us, that's a very large turnout of support.
I was concerned when I saw all the
I know, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you and good luck.
Good night.
No, we can clarify that. There was one other item that got pushed to the January meeting, right? It's Paul Sprunk,
Yes,
78 Hamilton Street,
correct.
and he's looking to construct a bedroom. And I guess he has some variance relief associated with that, but we've, not knowing how long tonight would go, we essentially told him to carry to January.
So they didn't notice for tonight, they were gonna notice for January.
They noticed for tonight without speaking tonight.
Okay.
And we had a full agenda, so we said that we would hear them in January.
Okay, so I'm just gonna make the announcement that's required since they did notice tonight. Has anybody here in the public for the front application at 78 Hamilton Street? That application has been carried to January 19th, 2022. No new notices will go out with regard to that application. Since they had noticed for tonight, they will be appearing on the 19th. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Put that on the record.
Thank you, Chris. And you'll review all of the notice information at that point?
Yes.
Determine it, okay, okay. Very good, okay, and we had an addendum to the agenda for this evening. Applicant Restaurant L 9 Franklin Turnpike, and this is a concept review, so we won't take any action on it. But I'm assuming you're here for that. Come on up.
Did everybody receive a copy of the plan for this?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Just for everybody's benefit, this is a what we call a courtesy review. It's not an application, and not really a courtesy review, a concept review. Normally, we would do these things at a work session. We decided to
Right.
do it tonight. It's not been noticed. There is no application on file. The individual here will be testifying or really advising us what he is proposing to do. Really just, I think, get a sense of the board as to his plans prior to moving forward with the formal application. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right.
Thank you very much.
So if you could just put your name and address for the record, and then we'll let you tell us what you want to do.
Sure. Yeah, Daniel Gray, 26 Heights Road, Allendale, New Jersey. I'm born and raised Upper Saddle River. My family, some of my family still lives there, but currently reside in Allendale and planning on staying for a long time. I own 5 restaurants. 4 of them are bar restaurants, well, restaurant bars in Hoboken, and moved back last year with my wife and looking to do something or some things around the area and get some more restaurants in the area. Came across this one about a year ago, and with negotiating and all that kind of fun stuff, now here at the I got a few more weeks to decide whether or not due diligence, if I want to move forward with it or not, and wanted to get the board's opinion on whether or not it's worth pursuing or not. I'm going to do more of a restaurant, more high end. I don't want to give the town something that already has. It already has a great sports bar and has a great sushi restaurant and Indian food. I just wanted to give the town something different. All my restaurants in Hoboken are all different. I have a wine bar, a high-end sushi restaurant, a Chinese American dim sum restaurant, a sports bar. So don't want to bring more life to the town, not
You have an
not crowd it.
You have an eclectic collection,
Yeah.
so you don't specialize in any one particular.
No, I mean, I'm getting my SOM license this spring, so wine is more of my
Okay.
passion, but just people and being around everybody and giving an atmosphere for people to come and enjoy themselves.
Okay.
So are you then proposing that it would be something along the lines of what Restaurant L was?
Yeah, a little bit more newer, I guess. It was a little dated. I want to put some work into the place, and with this, making it using the space a little better. Getting more seats, but not going, but not expanding, not getting rid of any parking. There's a container in the back of the restaurant. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but and a shed that doesn't get used. I'd want to turn that into usable space.
I
Private party.
drove over there and parked for a while and just sort of re-familiarized
Yeah.
myself from the Turnpike Tavern days before
Yeah.
Restaurant L.
And all the U-Hauls in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's only one today.
Yeah,
I
there's
did
one.
the same today. It was
There's
only
only
one,
There was
yeah.
only one.
There's only
Yeah. About 5 the first time I went
Yeah,
over.
there's always some in there. People are always
Yeah.
texting me.
No, I
about
went
it.
over there just to refresh myself, and I saw the container you're talking about and the shed or whatever that outbuilding is. It's a little
Yeah.
more than a shed, but not quite a building. So,
Yeah, there's a bathroom in it and a walk-in cooler.
yeah, I
and-
thought
It
so
was a
because I saw
cooler.
the.
I remember there
It
being a
wasn't-
cooler back there.
Yeah, they don't do anything with the space,
Mhm.
just for like their service and stuff. But
Somebody dumped the mattress back in the dumpster.
is there really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I would like to put some life back in that area. Definitely go more restaurant because it is in an area with homes. Just give the town, there's 3 liquor licenses in town, Savini's, Allendale Bar and Grill, and Restaurant L, and that one hasn't been used now for close to a year.
Right.
And
So you-
just like
you
to make,
keep the
just
liquor
like to make
license.
use of it. Yeah, just make use of
Okay.
it, exactly. Mhm.
Well,
And
I remember
Mike
that
Scrow did,
Restaurant L has had a very large bar. And the-
Yeah.
the restaurant part was not all that substantial.
no.
Are you planning to change that?
Yes.
Yeah,
This drawing seems to indicate that, and I
yeah, for
wanted to
sure.
explore that.
I like to have a bar in my restaurant. I own a BYOB in Hoboken too, and I have a bar in there, even though there's no, it just gives that like vibe that you're in.
Right, yeah.
You're in somewhere, you're not just in a room, but I use it just as a server station at the BYOB. But I definitely want to have a bar, but I don't want to take up the entire room. I want to open up the space and make it one room. The back room would be engagement parties, rehearsal dinners, baby showers, bridal showers, that kind of stuff. I do a lot of them I've done a bunch of weddings at a few of my small weddings,
Right.
but with COVID now, smaller weddings are happening. Yeah. So, but Mike Scro did the preliminary drawing. Obviously, this is just preliminary, but
Right.
just wanted to see what.
So you're not planning on going really any bigger than what's existing there? It would just be kind of incorporating probably a much better flow and a nicer outdoor area than currently exists. And then that connects to this back party space, right?
Exactly.
So it's the same essential
Same footprint?
footprint,
Same exact footprint,
same exact footprint.
except the container and the shed would now be usable space as opposed to just
Yeah.
just for
whatever
the
it is.
restaurant's use, not for
Right.
the
Yeah.
consumer's use. Yeah, exactly.
And your storage is then downstairs?
Yeah, there could be storage underneath the not the new, but the footprint that I'd be putting. Or, and I also have there's a basement underneath the kitchen. It's not big, but definitely storage. And then there's also an upstairs, an office, which I could use for storage as well.
I guess what I'm, if there was that existing cooler there, which I don't know if it was ever used, as you pointed out, or something, do you need that air? Do you need any of that for usable storage?
No, and if I could put a walk-in down in the basement, but it just depends on what
Needs and what you're.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, I order as many, to hit minimums is slow. I don't have a lot of cool in Hoboken. You don't have a lot of anything because you're all fighting for, you don't have any parking or nothing. So you just kind of use what I showed a chef this kitchen. They're like, oh, look at the size of it. And it's, for people around the area, they're probably like, that's it, but for us in Hoboken, it's
It's a palace.
huge. Yeah, it's a palace, exactly.
So the existing bar that's there, if I remember it right, it's a pretty big bar.
Yeah, it takes up the whole room.
Takes up the whole room when you
Yeah.
first walk in, so.
It was essentially.
I would
this
knock
is-
that down and put it against
This is
the
like we
back
had a
wall,
walkway back here,
to
this
more
is the
space for
dining
diners,
room.
exactly. Probably wouldn't have TVs really in the space. It'd be more of a restaurant. I don't want to say that for sure, but
More
most
of a
likely not.
fine dining.
Most
as
of my
opposed
restaurants,
to-
except for my one sports bar, doesn't have any TVs. It's just,
Okay.
I want to create the atmosphere. I don't want TVs,
Right,
creating the atmosphere.
you don't want a bar,
Exactly. Mhm.
which kind of what Restaurant L was, more of a bar to me than a
Yeah.
restaurant.
Mm.
I rarely went there, but it's not a comment. It's just that I didn't want the bar. I can go to AB&G for that.
Of course, yeah.
So from an open hour standpoint, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Oh, and during the week? No, I probably would just open for dinner during the week. On the weekends, excuse me, I would love to do brunch. I do a really good brunch business in town. But that wouldn't be, if that would be a problem with the town or anybody like that, I wouldn't have to do anything like that.
Okay, but then closing at night, 10.
I don't know, yeah, whatever the town would
Whatever.
recommend or whatever. I mean, on Friday and Saturday, it'd be great to stay open a little later, but diner, since it's more of a restaurant, especially in the suburbs, I would imagine, you get 9:30 reservations, but you're probably not getting too many 10 o'clock reservations. Those, whenever everybody finishes, tell everyone.
Unless the land use goes long, then
Well, there you
land
go.
use board
Yeah.
goes long, then
Right.
then we do 10.
Yeah, you guys tell me when you're done, just kick me out. I already appreciate the time, and Mr. Kistner and Linda, thank you very much for the help.
The reason why I'm asking that question is, some of us have been on this board for some time. Ari, I'm kind of looking at you. Do you remember when we went through this and it was a whole thing with noise and breaking glass and things
I
like
do.
that?
Yeah.
You remember?
Well, yeah, but because it borders on the residential side, right? You have Waldeck on one side, you have residents, the other, and you have residents across the street. So the hue and cry of when, of how late, of parking, et cetera. So I know that's been a concern of the residents. I think, Restaurant L was a good fit and they made it work. And I think as generally we have hesitation of, we're sensitive to the residents that live next door and across the street.
Of course, yeah, I understand.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to, for total transparency, when I got this information about Mr. Gray's interest, you guys all know I'm a Hudson County raised and, born, and have numerous friends still down in the Hoboken area, Jersey City area. I asked about Mr. Gray, because I heard, well, at first I heard Hoboken, I'm thinking Hoboken bars, and I work in Allendale. I didn't think it was a great fit into the Mr. Gray's locations in Hoboken, are highly respected with a lot of the old timers in Hoboken who I've known for since I was a little kid, who really don't like much of anything. He has an unbelievable reputation in that with the chain, the new people in Hoboken, as well as the old timers, right? I mean, my buddy Dan DiCangelo at the Stamp Sports Center, they named the block after him, and he speaks very highly of every one of Mr. Gray's locations. So just for everybody's, if I didn't think it was, I was really, I thought it was important to bring it to the board. That's why I just wanted to let you know that. So.
Mike, any problems with the number of parking spaces?
Yeah, that's my only question.
That's always the issue, I think, with this
Yeah.
property. And people, people parking on Weibel across the street, and there's some history there, so
Yeah.
just,
Prove an application for a restaurant and they're successful, but if they're so successful,
right.
have the number of parking, it's kind of a double-edged sword. So I think that's something that should be thought about and how to manage that, maybe employee parking, and the
Right.
number of tables and the size of the parties that you may be able to have there. It's a little bit different than Hoboken because of the nature of how people, get back and forth to the restaurants, but parking is generally, one of the
Is there,
issues that come up with this type of.
and there was sufficient parking for Restaurant L? If it,
I
if,
don't know.
yeah,
It was-
so that would be a question that we,
It was
So I-
ballet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
but they use valet,
They
not
use
always,
valet,
but
but
they do
I-
use valet.
And I would be willing to do this so too. There's
Isn't there
39 current parking spots at Restaurant L, and the drawing that Mike Scroll presented is 3,900 square feet. And it's one parking spot for every 100 square feet, as
Okay.
far as I understand.
That
So it
meets
would
the,
fall under, but that, that's, if it's still bothering other people,
Well, it's
if it's bothering people in the neighborhood, I'm not doing all this work and spending a lot of money and to bother my residents, my people, I'll be going, my
Plus you
kids,
live here.
my kids will be going to high
Yeah.
school with. That's not
It's nothing
something,
against them.
I went to high school here, I got along with everybody. I'm not looking to make any enemies in the town.
And I don't know what the requirement is. For
Mhm.
the number of spaces.
well, in a formal proposal, you would have all of that.
Yeah.
outlined.
Yeah,
And
that's
that-
the only thing that
That
I
would
think
be,
you
a
would
that would be a
want to
question
really
the
make
board
sure
would
you
raise.
tighten up.
Okay,
The board would raise parking issues with you in a formal presentation, for
Not only-
sure.
not only
Okay.
the- Not only the board, but, it's gonna be a public meeting. So that could be-
Yeah,
that's really-
neighbors could come.
Like,
Mhm.
be prepared to address that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that was a good point somebody made, Ron may have made, the staff of the restaurant. If they're taking up some of your patrons' parking spots, that could be an issue.
Restaurant L,
And I don't know how they managed it.
Janet told me, who's the current owner of Restaurant L, she told me that the gas station allowed her
Oh,
employees,
To park there.
Sit
employees to park there.
That may
And it
be
usually got all the employees to park there. So
something- That may
Okay.
be something you want to work out if you're going to come to the board.
with like a,
you know,
an
formal
agreement or
application,
something,
that
Yeah.
may be something
with
you
the
wanna-
gas station,
Yeah.
and they park all their U-Hauls throughout
I was
the
gonna
day.
say.
The worst they could do is help us out there.
Yeah, I seem to remember, and just from the past, and I did not drive the property.
No.
Is there parking
Behind the-
Yeah.
Yes, I am right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not included in here, or is that included in? the
Everything
39?
within the fence. If you look at
It's there.
the top drawing,
They're always, yeah, but I seem to thought that there was parking.
oh,
Yeah.
that might be part of the, it used to be the Odyssey. I don't know what the gym's called right now.
Yeah, there's a
I think
dance
it's
still-
studio back
Oh,
there.
there's a dance studio. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's a
in the
gym
spotlight.
there too, but that's technically in Waldwick.
And well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
There's a fence between it too.
There's a
Yes.
fence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to them whether they'd allow me to use parking
Yeah,
there.
that's another.
It'd be something I would be willing to.
That gets very
Use, yeah.
crowded. My daughter goes there.
Oh, yeah,
It's
even at
packed.
night.
Yeah, because her dance, her dance goes to 8.
Oh, yeah, so
Okay.
right in
So-
prime time, basically, yeah.
I mean, I don't know about the weekends,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
weekdays.
Weekdays for sure,
Like-
probably
Like,
not.
my
the
husband was
weekends as
picking her
much.
up at 8 tonight and it gets crowded.
Yeah,
What
I
is
mean, 10 years ago when they were having problems with the neighbors, you said there wasn't Uber or Lyft as much, and I know I Uber and Lyft around the area. I don't,
That's true too.
drink and drive, so if
Right.
I'm going to AD&G and having a few, I'm calling an Uber, and so I know that's
Yeah,
something
that
that
is
it
a
wasn't
change.
around, wasn't
Right, you're
around
right.
10 years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
And the area in
like
front
this-
is handicap parking, is that what that is in the?
Yeah, there's 2 handicap spots in the
Up
front.
front, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I always remember those.
Mike, this is zoned residential, right?
Yes.
That's the
I
zoning.
think
It's
it is.
Pre-existing,
Yeah,
pre-existing
yeah,
non-conforming.
I believe so, yeah.
I think it's been a bar since 1930s
No, I
or
know.
something.
1941,
1941?
yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Turnpike Tavern.
I remember the Turnpike Tavern.
Turnpike Tavern, someone told me the name of the other one that I don't remember now.
It was Michael Limatola.
So the, any parking requirements, how would you just use it on like a restaurant use within the
Yeah.
town?
If we have something specific to restaurants. Again, I didn't look into it. I didn't
No,
know,
that's
But I don't know if it's square footage or number of seats or number of tables, but there's generally some kind of formula in the ordinance that sets forth the number. Plus important.
And there might be something that if you had events over X number of people, you maybe part of your application would say that you'd agree to have valet parking for something like that.
Yeah,
That might
I would do
go-
valet parking every day if that was something that would help me move forward, for sure.
Tell the gas station the exchange rate is 2 staff members for every 1 U-Haul.
That's good. a great
You have
idea.
some outdoor eating spaces that you.
Yeah, there's,
you continue to
outdoor-
use that?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, and we do have ordinances on outdoor.
They were
on-site
using it as-
dining that you'd have to agree or comply with. So
Yeah,
just-
yeah, of course.
Just as a heads up.
Yeah, yeah.
They're out there. They're in the
Mhm.
ordinance book, so
Okay.
you may want to look at that.
Which has significantly expanded in the last year or so.
Yeah, because
Yes.
of COVID, yeah.
Who knew you'd eat outside in November? But
I
it's
have-
not so bad.
I have parking, the decks built in Hoboken, I don't know if you've seen
Okay.
them, but they're
Yeah.
they're taking up parking.
Yeah.
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 That's part of what's happening too, is like Savini had a big tent in front that used up almost their entire parking.
Yeah, what did they do? They just,
Um,
Made it- they just made it work?
Well,
Those,
People on Hamilton may not agree with
yeah,
that.
there was some grumbling.
those valets they hustle though.
Yes.
They definitely hustle. So does this thing seem like something I should pursue or is anybody
I mean, I think you should do the math to make sure that you're gonna invest all that money,
yeah,
that you can get out of it where you want to get out of it, because they're gonna have big parties and stuff like we talked about with the parking, and if you don't have a significant overflow area where you can valet cars too,
yeah.
you're gonna spend all this money and then you can never really utilize the party space that you envision. So I would definitely take a look at that.
Yeah, with the parties and stuff, what I do in Hoboken is I always tell people about, people book engagement parties or rehearsal dinners or far out in advance, bridal showers, no one, and we talk to them and tell them what they're, hey, listen, there's a parking garage. You can, good luck finding parking in Hoboken. So I would just tell them, hey, listen, you guys can come, but there's only this many spots. And once you reach a limit, parking lot closed, you have to, you can't park on the street, I be working with the town. Like I said, I don't want any neighbors in here not upset. I want them to come in and be customers to me.
And I think the point we're trying to reach too is if this, it's a, you purchase it and you reestablish the restaurant out there. I don't think the town wants to be in a position where they have to do parking enforcement.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
It's gonna be up to you to obtain and secure the parking that you need for the size of the occasion that may want to hold the
Mhm.
restaurant.
Yeah,
When I was there today, the parking lot feels huge when it's empty.
it definitely does. Yeah, I'm sure when it's full, it doesn't feel as big.
I don't know. I don't remember.
But-
It's been so long. I don't remember. But I was in there and I was driving around. I had the whole place to myself. I said, this looks
And,
nice.
and it could be. we
Well, it's
haven't
pretty
looked at it,
wide.
but
Yeah.
parking is
And deep. It's very
generally-
deep back
wide,
there.
It's a lot deeper than you think. Yeah, I mean, there's 39 parking spots.
It's
a lot.
it's wide indeed.
It's a lot of parking spots. Yeah.
Well, I can say I only live a few houses away from there,
So you don't have to park there. You can walk.
11, 12 years now. That parking lot was never full, ever.
Okay.
With restaurant out,
Mhm.
even on Saturday nights, but they don't do a whole lot of business, so.
Yeah,
Which again,
I would hope to be doing more
I
business.
remember.
Obviously,
Yeah.
We were there.
No.
there's
These two
been,
bunches.
Turnpike went away.
Mm.
I forget if there was something in there in between. I don't think there was.
I
from Turnpike.
I think they said they bought it from Turnpike
They
Tavern.
brought it from
Yeah.
Turnpike.
Yeah,
The
17 years
restaurant
ago.
went in there,
Mm.
and they did, I guess, okay, but they're obviously not in business.
you've obviously been successful or are successful. I take that back. You are
Thank you.
successful
Mm.
in Hoboken, to Mr. Kissner's points as well. What makes you think that you'll be successful here?
That's a good question.
Okay, given, I like your thoughts of,
Yeah.
and plus the wine thing is intriguing as well, but what makes you think you'll be successful there?
Just 18 years of experience in the restaurant business. Trying to find a thing that the town doesn't have, give something to the families early on, and then, have your date night or business dinners and stuff afterwards, or your holiday parties and that kind of stuff. Doing something different than Savini's and different than AB&G, and just giving the town another great place to go. There's a lot of great restaurants. I mean, I always, whenever I come up with anything at my restaurants, I'm always asking my staff, my customers, how can I do better? What can we do better? And it's I'm here on a Wednesday talking to you guys and not at one of my restaurants because they have really good staff and I'm really good to them and they're good to me in return. So yeah, just I know.
And just that, if you look around the area, the Saddle River Inn is not a huge place. And
No.
you can't get a reservation.
No,
for
yeah.
one. Cafe Panache is also a small place. There
place,
used to be
yeah.
a Long John Silver's. and
Just named
Wait,
two
really?
restaurants.
Oh, yeah, it was a Long John Silver.
Oh my God.
That's the space. they
Yeah, it
took
was. It was a
over
Long
and
John
became
Silver's.
a
You ever
very,
look at the building? you're like,
high-end
"Whoa."
restaurant.
How long,
Yeah.
how long ago was that? That was
Oh,
Before
20
Panache,
plus years ago.
so, yeah.
1988, 89 to 91.
All right.
It was a Keene-owned property. I was the manager who built it.
Is that right?
There you go.
Oh, I was 85, so I was alive for that, but I wasn't eating. I guess my parents weren't frequenting Long John Silver's at the time.
So you could essentially put a nice fine restaurant.
Yeah.
And do quite well.
I was in talks with
With the
Jamie
right
Knott,
type of-
who's the owner of
yeah.
Saddle Inn,
Yep.
about, it would be nice to be able to do an Allendale Inn. I don't know if we're trying to make it work, negotiation wise, but if not, it's going to be something like that, like a nice
Okay.
cocktail menu, wine list, and,
Yeah.
not another Italian place, which they're all great. So why, we
Right.
don't need another Italian restaurant.
I think you just
More.
need the right formula. I mean,
Yeah.
I've always said the Turnpike Tavern had the right formula for half a century.
Mhm.
Okay, I know you're not going to do that,
Yeah, yeah.
but the point is they did it.
Yeah.
Restaurant now, I don't know what, I'm not in the
Yeah.
restaurant business, but whatever it was, it worked for a while, then it didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't think parking was the problem.
No, yeah, I'm hoping it's not, I'm connected to the community. My wife went to Northern Highlands. Her brother and sister went to Northern Highlands. My 7 brothers and sisters went to Northern Highlands. My wife goes to Define in Allendale. I go spin with her there every once in a while. I go to the Allendale Florist. My dog goes to Wolfgang's. I go to Masa for sushi. I mean, just getting to know the neighborhood and just introducing myself, and hopefully people come by and check us out, and I'll be there, serving them and hosting them in the space if we can make it work.
Well, there's only really 2 things that property can be. It can be a restaurant or it can.
Or a house.
Or
Or it can be a
residence.
house.
Or
So,
like townhouses or apartments or something like that.
well,
I don't
it's
know if you
single,
guys want
it's
that.
it's zoned single family.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah. And so I speak for myself only. I don't speak for half of the board, but I love to eat out.
Mm,
Nothing would make me happier, not only as a resident, but as a council person, have a taxpayer, commercial taxpayer in there and generating income
mhm.
to the economy, the local economy, and another good place to go eat, something different, as you said.
Yeah,
Just got to be done lawfully without aggravating the neighbors.
yeah.
Yeah, I personally miss the option that Restaurant L provided. Like our family would go there. My kids absolutely missed the donuts. They had homemade donuts for dessert that they loved. So you can bring those back. That'd be great. But no, I think it'd be great. I mean, I would love to see another restaurant in there.
Thank you.
I agree. I look forward to seeing what you may have in store. See what happens.
Appreciate it.
One question. So
Yeah.
the building itself is still set up the way it was.
Yeah,
That hasn't changed.
no, still exactly the same. There's still tables and chairs everywhere and kitchen equipment. Just, I think they emptied all the booze out.
That's the U-Hauls.
Yeah, it's only U-Haul.
And some really ugly container,
Yeah,
although you really can't see it from the street.
yeah, and you pull in it,
buried
yeah.
behind the
I see it because I know it's back there and it just bothers me that it's
Yeah,
there,
me
but
too.
I don't know how it got there or what they used it for, but it's back there. I think he said the staff changed in it at a time. Like I'm
Less-
just,
less
I
we know,
usually
the
just
better.
change
Yeah.
before I go to work and then come dressed, but
Interesting.
but
What one of the other things that you might want to do is get some of the past discussions on this. When we went through this, I don't remember the year that L went in there.
2004, I think they
There you
said.
go. So go back to 2000, just look perhaps at some of the meeting minutes
Okay,
and some of the questions that were raised, not only by the board, but by some of the neighbors that came in there.
in
Just see-
2004.
I'm sorry?
In 2004.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. when it-
I
or-
think, excuse me if I'm wrong,
Please
but I
don't.
think the issue back then was that originally they were going to just kind of keep it as like a burger place and everyone was like, yeah, it's going to stay a burger place. And then it became, well, we might do a catering facility. And then it became, oh, we're going to do the restaurant. And I think they weren't very clear. They didn't present a clear picture of what it's going to be. So
Mhm.
as long as you come in with as clear picture as you can and we get the parking issue settled,
Shouldn't be a problem then, you guys don't think?
But again, I still think,
Yeah.
if you go back and look at some of the past.
There were
meeting
issues,
minutes,
there
I
were
definitely
times
will.
when
Thank you very
people
much.
parked on Wayble.
Yeah.
Because there was overflow from the restaurant and
Mhm.
there was a bad situation, so.
Like Suzanne, said, I mean, probably if neighbors do come in, that's what they're gonna question. They're gonna question parking on Wayble and they're gonna question this.
Yeah.
Which is legal, by the way, but it doesn't make it any less annoying.
No, and it doesn't make it easier for me to get through approvals to be able to do what I
Right.
want to do.
And the issue of walk crossing Franklin Turnpike. If
Yeah,
you-
that's got to be.
You've had a couple of cocktails.
Yeah. Especially the lighting is not,
No, it's not great.
No.
yeah, it's not great there, which I'm sure the residents like. But
Probably, yes.
for me being the responsible one for people crossing the street to go get their car.
There's been some home renovations there and knockdowns, so that street is upgraded quite a bit too, so.
Just as a.
Yeah.
And then even if people don't park in the gas station, then they run the risk of parking in Odyssey. And then you're gonna take off, whether they
Take
come
off.
out, walk in front of the gas station
Mhm.
and then to your, to the restaurant. So
Yeah.
just some things to.
That can all be managed, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I can think of a few businesses in the area like Brady's in Ramsey.
They
who has
park in there.
Very specific signage. Don't
Right,
park
don't
here.
park, yeah.
You're gonna be towed,
Yeah, yeah.
so.
And they,
absolutely
and they
right.
ask you when you come in, where
Right,
did
it
you
was-
park?
Yeah.
But I think this is good, and I think that you've taken the time to come and talk to us, that we could give you, especially with some of us that have history,
Yeah.
that should definitely help you make a very informed decision, and hopefully a good decision, and a successful decision.
I'm lucky enough that you guys gave me the time, so thank you very much.
So the consensus of the board is that I think we would like, a restaurant would work there, the right type of restaurant would
Yeah.
work there.
Vacant building's not doing anybody any good.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So,
a liquor license not being
And it's a
used in the
liquor
town.
license.
Yeah.
Not with the railroad behind it as well.
No.
Any other concerns that I should look into before purchasing that anybody can think
I mean,
of?
the exhaust system, I mean, I'm sure that's gonna come up a lot of the neighbors with the smells of the cooking and everything. So, you may want to think about that. If you're gonna update the exhaust systems or if they're fine the way they are, just be prepared because I'm sure somebody's gonna ask.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I haven't even looked into it yet, so that's something I
Yeah,
will definitely
Face
look
them
into.
towards the railroad, because they're constantly running the trains overnight.
Yeah.
The diesel engines.
And that's another thing too, that is true.
So there's
diesels
noise
running
there
back
now,
there's
so
noise.
I'm
Yeah.
not so sure you're gonna add a lot more noise to what's there.
I'm a
existing.
member at Ramsey Country Club and those trains come by every 2 seconds.
Mhm.
But they actually sit in Waldwick Yard and run overnight.
Oh,
to
they
keep
do,
them
okay.
warm,
Yeah.
So they can go up and down during the day. And there's been complaints about that, the engines
If
running.
you have the opportunity to drive back there, maybe even now, but drive back there during the day, the trains are sitting there.
Mhm.
There's probably.
I just heard one.
There's quite a few.
Yeah, exactly, on cue.
Yeah.
That patrons could come to the Waldwick station and walk to your restaurant as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Or maybe an Uber from there, I don't know.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I think the board is in agreement with this. I'll speak for them, I guess, as the chairman, that essentially the restaurant concept can work there. It has worked in the past, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work going forward. And it's kind of the only thing that can go in there from a
Yeah.
commercial perspective. Otherwise, it reverts back to a single zone, family zone.
And no one would have a problem with getting rid of the container in the shed and making more usable space,
No.
as long as parking and
As long as it meets the parking
bathrooms and
ordinance.
everything is
Yeah.
up to code and.
Yep.
and there wasn't any issues.
It's
Okay.
gonna be-
Yeah.
Oh. Any other questions that anybody has for me that?
I look forward to the soft launch.
Thank you.
The donuts.
Well, I really appreciate everyone's time today. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
staying a little
Thank you for
later.
coming.
Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Happy holidays, to everybody.
You too.
Same to you, Christmas. Thank you.
Good luck,
Thank you.
Mr. Gray.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Say, Mr. Gray, it reminds me of that movie, that Pelham 1, 2, 3. You ever see that movie?
Is
Oh, I
that?
thought you
Four
were-
guys hijack a
I thought you
subway
were going with a
train.
different movie
I
there.
They'll
think I saw the
They'll-
newer one with Denzel.
No, the original. No, the original.
That's great too.
It was Mr. Gray, Mr. Blue,
Yeah.
Mr. Green or something.
The 1985
Reservoir
comment and the,
Yeah. All right, I feel old enough, Ron.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good luck.
Take care. All right, I asked Chris if he could update us on the Park and Ivy. What's
Yeah.
going on with that? I guess there was a meeting again today, so.
Well, are there any other comments? Maybe we just go through the rest of the agenda, because I'm gonna go into closed session to discuss that. Turn off the recordings and.
Okay.
Good night.
Any members of the public wish to bring anything up? Seeing and hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Any members of the board? Any updates for us, Steve, from?
Real quick, 'cause
Venues
it's getting
committee?
late and we still have stuff to go. Well, let me think. This is a quick one. 'Cause I don't think I mentioned, I haven't been here for a few months, so I did mention in the council meeting, thank you to Construction Code Office and Ron for this information. Construction code fees, in other words, the revenue that we're getting through permits is now at or past pre-pandemic levels,
Okay.
which is a good thing. It's a good thing for revenue, but it's also good for other reasons. I consider it, the fees to be a lagging indicator of residents' satisfaction with Allendale. In other words, like we just saw tonight, instead of moving, I'll expand where I live and stay here. I've already been here 20
Right.
years, but I'll make it so I can stay another 20 or something. Somebody else said, I forget already, about all the construction that's going on. And this is all being done, by the way, with apparently supply chain issues and labor issues.
Right.
So we're doing good there. So I'm very happy to hear that. And the other thing is, back in August, the borough issued a resolution asking for a voluntary ban on poison bait traps for rodents, specifically anticoagulants, which is a good thing if you want to kill rats. But the problem is the rat takes the bait, runs off and dies, and then raptor, in one case, a endangered raptor, eats the poison rat, and then it dies. Or great horned owl has died from it. They found a dead mink in the cellular farm, which probably died from eating a poison rat. And I never in my life thought I would see a bald eagle in Allendale, but I've seen two now. And God forbid a bald eagle drops dead from a poison rat. I mean, it's really going to be sad. So we're doing a little reach out. Thanks to John Gill. It's in the newsletter this month under the Did You Know section, along with some other land use related stuff. Like, did you know you need a drone for a permit to fly a drone?
Yes.
Yeah, and good stuff. I really like that. So he's got like 5 of mine in there this month. I'm really excited about that. But so we're gonna do some more reach out, especially with some of the larger commercial properties. But that's some of the highlights.
Okay. Thank
Did I miss anything, guys? Anything going on in land use that's really that important?
So before we go to executive session, this will be, I guess, Suzanne, this will be your last meeting
Yes.
since you got elected to the board, so.
I shall miss
We
you
will,
all.
we will be losing Suzanne's knowledge, commentary. It's always been welcome, so.
Oh, well, thank you,
and
Kevin.
best of luck on the board.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been great being with all of
Out
you.
of the frying pan into the fire, perhaps.
Thank you.
And I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And in January, we'll get to start it all over again. And now I'll turn it over to Chris.
So since this is active litigation, I'm going to ask us to go into executive session to turn off the video and turn off the recording. And we're just going to need a motion by a member and a second, and then a roll call to move into executive session to discuss pending litigation, which is the Park and Ivy litigation. for if you don't know, when you do in closed session, minutes are kept, although they're not recorded. And then at the conclusion of the issue, maybe the conclusion of the litigation, then the minutes could be released. So.
So we keep a separate set of minutes for this?
Correct.
So just please note
Closed
that,
session
Linda.
minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so is
Do
there
you
a
need a motion?
motion
So move, Sirico.
Second, Sasso.
and roll call?
Board Member Bergen,
Yes.
Secretary Delavatio.
Yes.
Board Member Davis,
Yes.
Board Member Kistner.
Yes.
Board Member Lovasolo,
Yes.
Councilman Sasso,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sirico.
Yes.
Mayor Bernstein,
Yes.
Chairman Quinn,
Yes.
alternate Yakarino.
Yes.
Alternate Forbes.
Yes.
All right, so the motion passes, so we can go off recording and video. Let me know when we're on that, Tyler.
Likely, probably. At least one expert told us probably a year to 2 out. The borough, I think 2 council meetings ago, retained an attorney who's a specialist in this area. He costs the borough nothing. It's just like an engineer, so to speak, where if AT&T or Verizon made an application to put up some 5G cell sites, they would have to, submit an escrow, and that would, his fee would come out of the escrow. But he could help us negotiate this. You can't stop it, and you don't want to stop it, but you can manage it. And so he's going to help us do that when that time comes, and we don't know when that's going to be.
Does 5G entail new towers?
5G does entail new towers. It's very, very different. Instead of 150-foot pole by a recycling area, you might have 20 to 30 telephone pole size things with little.
They look like
Little
garbage
boxes.
cans.
They look like little garbage
They look
cans
like
on top.
garbage cans.
Yeah, on top of. They look like, to me, they look like electric transformers that
Yeah.
you see that blow up now and then. They look like that on a telephone pole.
They started, some South Bergen towns have them already.
Yeah.
They're lovely.
Believe it or not, I saw it down like on the beach in Delaware, down those beach towns down there. So I think.
And the technology is really great. I know you've
Again,
spent a
there's
lot
no
of time
stopping
with
it. You don't want to stop it. And it also will someday, I don't know if we'll ever do this in Allendale, but it will allow smart cities technologies like, you can control traffic lights and water valves from, anywhere. And 5G will connect all of your municipal assets and infrastructure. So
The Terminator one
Mhm.
at the beginning.
The hacker's paradise.
right. So when your water shuts off, you'll know why. But anyway, so that's it. So
Okay.
Hoplite is the name of the company. Mr. Lupo Esquire, he's out of New Brunswick. He does a lot. He's doing Saddle River. He's doing a lot of
Okay.
communities. So again, he costs us nothing, help us navigate the process, and hopefully it's no rush, but you never know. So we wanted to get him in place, and now it's just, we wait.
Right.
But in the meantime, we probably can work on some ordinances, again, to manage it. That's it. That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Any other new business? I'll take a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second,
Sirico.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the meeting is adjourned.
All right. I'll see some of you guys tomorrow.
All right. Signed a few other ones.